we are going to be discussing spoilers of what has happened in the episode 5 broadcast of Hawkeye. Okay, so I warned you at the beginning of the show that we were going to be revealing a couple of the big reveals. We're not going to go into full in depth on the whole episode, but we're going to be revealing a couple of major things here. I want to give you guys that heads up. So with that said, Kim, what is our 5th main topic today?
All right. This comes from Tyler M. Greetings and salutations, John. Holy crap. We knew it was coming. We've been talking about it for a couple weeks. But when that image of Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin came up on screen, I jumped off my sofa, pumped my fist in the air, and yelled, yes! So my question is now, how big of a deal is this? And do you still think this is a new version of Kingpin? Or is D'Onofrio playing the exact same version from Netflix? Either way, I don't care. Just so happy he's back.
All right, thanks for writing that in, Tyler. And yeah, they did it.
Da, 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 da.
We've been expecting it.
Yeah.
We've all kind of thought this is where they were heading. And they did it. They did it. They brought back Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. Now, let me say this first. You guys know I was not the biggest fan of the first couple of episodes of Hawkeye. Episodes 3 and 4 kind of got me on board. I was enjoying 3 and 4. They definitely had some really good things. Before the Kingpin picture last night, I already thought last night's episode of Hawkeye was the best episode yet. It was the strongest episode yet. They laid great narrative. They had some character turns. I thought while it was too long, the conversation between Kate Bishop and Yelena, that conversation dragged on a little bit too long for me, but it was a great scene nonetheless. I am starting, he only had one scene in that episode. I'm starting to really like Jack. But when he's getting arrested, he's like, that's no big deal. I would have done the same thing. Yeah, we're going to go down to the police station, get this cleared up. Have a pleasant day. Like
I'm faking it.
I'm starting to love Jack.
He's such a dick.
I'm starting to love Jack. He's like starting to become my spirit animal. Okay. In fact, I hated that character at first, but he's starting to become like my spirit animal. And then of course there was the whole introduction with Yelena coming back from the snap.
I like the way they showed that.
Yes.
For a split second, I thought, because we've seen different iterations of what the snap was like for people, for a split second, I thought she went to a different universe.
Oh, okay.
Because the way they did it, we hadn't seen someone like that. Because we saw in Wanda, we saw Homegirl, we saw her come back, in the hospital and everything.
Yeah, they did.
But
we didn't see it slowly transform.
Watching
into a
the
different
bathroom
world. Right.
change colors, and I was like, oh wait, oh shoot. Oh, she's in a different. Oh no! She just came back from the dusting. But I like how they did that.
Yeah, they did it really well,
Loved her
and
storyline.
that was all very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Of course, the conversation that she's after play, but okay, all that is there, and all that is true. But they brought back Kingpin. We knew it was coming. It was still really cool to see it. We were sitting around last night. Me, Ray, our buddy Ryan, and
How was the food?
Oh my God! The food was great. Okay, so
Where's my plate?
first of all, Anne made
Ray.
Anne made.
Actually in the fridge.
It's probably in the fridge.
Thank you.
Anne made, to start with, Anne made some amazing fried rice, like some bacon and sausage fried rice.
Ooh.
And then Ray, who had come over the night before, was marinating for 24 hours Korean chicken thighs and was marinating for like 24 hours. Then came over last night, fired up my barbecue.
In the rain.
In the rain.
In the rain. We
Cooking
eat
in
no
the
matter what.
rain.
He was out there
We
in
eat
the
no matter what.
cold and the rain making barbecue Korean chicken thighs.
I saw you.
And then he brought it in and I put it together with Anne's fried rice. And I got to tell you, John was a happy boy last night.
It was so cold out there. It was hard to get the barbecue grill from 350 to 400. It kept spiking. So,
Yeah, and then Ray, he would go out. He was coming into the house, right, to do the barbecue. But he would go out of the house. He would just leave the back door fully open. And like Anne's like, why is it getting cold?
if
Like,
y'all
Ray,
suffer, if I
you
suffer,
suffer-
y'all suffer.
Anyway, enough
Okay.
of
Anyway.
Chicken Thigh Watch 2021.
Okay.
We move on from Chicken Thigh Watch. Okay, so when that moment came up, though, And we were all expecting it. Like, as soon as we heard Clint say, I'm afraid the big guy might be getting involved, it's like, okay, so we've known for a while. Just side question when he's asking, do I still think this is a different iteration of the Netflix one? Yes, I think, first of all, that this Wilson Fisk should be in jail and all that kind of stuff. I really do think that what a lot of people have been speculating for a long time is that this is not the Netflix Kingpin. It's Vincent D'Onofrio playing it, much like when Nicolas Cage came back to play Ghost Rider in the second Ghost Rider. It was technically a reboot, but they still had him playing the role. It was just, so it was a different version of Ghost Rider. Anyway, I still think that it's a different version of Kingpin. It's not the same Kingpin from Netflix. This is not I don't believe we're going to say this is the same universe as Netflix. If so, there's going to be a lot of explaining to do when Cottonmouth is suddenly Blade. But that aside, and that's a question we can tackle another day. That's a question we can tackle another day. Marvel has changed the game. They have changed the game. You know what is a good comparison for this? In Star Wars, and talking about whether this is the same Kingpin from whatever, from Netflix, in the world of Star Wars, one of the most beloved second-tier characters is a character by the name of Grand Admiral Thrawn from the Thrawn trilogy, the Heir to the Empire trilogy books. Well, they brought Grand Admiral Thrawn into now Star Wars, into main canon, by bringing him into Rebels, and now he's going to be a character in the upcoming Ahsoka Tano series. But it's not it is Grand Admiral Thrawn, but it's not the exact same Grand Admiral Thrawn as from the Heir to the Empire series, because that story isn't canon. This story is. So it's Grand Admiral Thrawn, the character we know and love, but it's a little bit different of a Grand Admiral Thrawn. I think that's what they're doing here with Kingpin. Maybe yes, maybe no, whatever. But either way, whether this is the Netflix Kingpin or whether this is a new iteration of Kingpin also being played by Vincent D'Onofrio, Marvel has changed the game with that one picture. With that one picture, they have changed the game. Because here's what Marvel has done. And although we've all known this is where they're heading with Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Doc Ock and whatever. But this, technically speaking, because technically this came out before Spider-Man No Way Home, this says right now Marvel is throwing open all the doors of possibilities. All the doors of possibilities. They're all open. Nothing's off the table anymore. Like, within Marvel and the MCU, and I think to its credit, and I think this was a good thing, there are boundaries and limits. I think boundaries and limitations are breeding grounds for creativity. I think you lack creativity when there's no parameters for what you got to stay inside of. But when you have parameters, that forces you to be really, really creative.
Yeah.
But they've been doing that for 15 years. 20 plus movies. 4 TV shows now. With this one still image that we are looking at here, this one still image is a flare being shot into the night sky by Kevin Feige, proclaiming to the world, nothing's off limits anymore. We can do anything. We can, and behold, we will do anything. Anything's possible now. And this is particularly exciting in a specific circumstance because there are a couple of guys, and I'm not saying D'Onofrio as Kingpin is as good as Robert Downey Jr. playing Iron Man or whatever, but there are few out of the now hundreds of people who have played comic book role characters. There are only a few that I can count on one hand that I feel like that person was born to play this role. Hugh Jackman was born to play Logan.
100%. Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. was born to play Tony Stark. Ryan Reynolds was born to play Wade Wilson, Deadpool. And I think Vincent D'Onofrio was born to play Wilson Fisk. It's just, you hurt Vanessa. Like the way he carries this character. I keep going back to that one scene in Netflix where he was in prison with John Bernthal's Punisher. And the way because this is the Punisher, right? But Wilson Fisk, played by Vincent D'Onofrio played that role like I had no doubt Fisk would eat Punisher alive if it came to that in that scene. Like, then this, and he didn't have to even do anything. D'Onofrio just carries this, he carries the Kingpin character so much that just standing there with Punisher and John Bernthal's, you had no doubt in your head, oh, Bernthal's in trouble. Usually you're thinking whoever's in the room with Punisher, you're thinking they're in trouble. But that's just how D'Onofrio has embodied this character, has owned this character, how he emotes this character. He radiates the power of Kingpin. And when this image came up on screen, even though we totally expected it to come,
blurry and 2 seconds long,
blurry on a 480p video footage camera, whatever it is, this one still image, you feel that power radiating off the screen again. I knew Kingpin was showing up, but you felt Kingpin show up. And that's the presence that D'Onofrio has brought to this role. And I got very excited. Very excited to see it. I mean, a little bummed out that we didn't actually get to hear him talk. I mean, we only got one freaking episode left to go, which, by the way, is a little bit of an issue for Hawkeye that I feel like we're going to the last episode and I don't even feel like we've gotten started. But,
yeah.
Oh my God, that was exciting. And again, let me say, I think this was the best episode of Hawkeye before Kingpin showed up. Like, before he showed up, I already thought this was the best episode of Hawkeye. But anyway, Kim, that's kind of my feeling on it. What do you think about the showing up of Wilson Fisk?
I'm super excited, but I'm like, it's not too little too late because it's very exciting possibilities for Marvel, period. And I love his character. I really do. And I can't wait to see him and Vera Farmiga interact together because she's got a cold-bloodedness to her that I really, really like. But I'm like, shoot, you're bringing him now? I want to see 2 more episodes with him.
Yeah.
You've got a lot to tie in to this last episode, and you can't focus on him like I want you to. And so now I'm excited for the last episode, but I'm also a little disappointed / nervous because now that you've opened that can, I want to see more. I want more already, and you've barely opened that can. So, but this was such a freaking good episode. Oh my God, Yelena. First of all, she's my homegirl, and I would love a girls' night with her. Duh, I told you Sex and the City was powerful. Even she wants to watch it, and she'll fight for it. But I absolutely love everything about this episode. Still don't feel like Echo needs her own series.
I mean, that's a topic for another
that's
time.
like
yeah,
a
but
total
even,
different thing. But
Yeah.
I want to see more of him. I'm like, how much screen time is he going to get in the last episode? Because you've got to deal with Yelena. You've got to deal with Kate Bishop, not Kate Bishop. And you've got to deal with Hawkeye and his family. And what is up with his wife? What's up with his wife? And she's like, yeah, I know. She has some relationship with Kingpin. Did you pick up on that?
Whose wife?
Hawkeye. Laura.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I picked up that she has a relationship with them.
But there was a situation. I feel like,
There's clearly like
between Laura and Kingpin. Like, did he rescue his wife from her? Like,
maybe yes, maybe no. I mean, that's going in a direction I don't think we're here to talk about right now.
we
But
have
I mean,
50 minutes to explore Kingpin. That's not enough.
Obviously, does feel a little weird that Clint, who, as he is mentioned in the show, has fought Thanos, would be really concerned about Kingpin getting involved. But I mean, and clearly, so his wife is aware of that as well. So I don't know. Look, they haven't even touched upon, we don't even know what the Watch is about.
Oh, yeah.
We don't, there's one episode left to go.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff there left undone. But again, to me, the issue here is Kingpin. It's Fisk. It's unbelievable. And I think this is going to be something that, again, I think this ushers in a new era of the MCU, for good or for bad. But I think this ushers in a kind of a new concept. Again, I still think, well, I'm going to save that for another time. But either way, guys.
Well,
I want to see. I want to see a Tracksuit Mafia spinoff. I like those guys. This is classic. This is a classic. No, but the one thing I'll say about this is throughout that episode, there is like a underlying fear in Clint of Kingpin, You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
every time he talked about him, it was not an Avenger that went up against Thanos and all those. He's literally, it seems scared of him. So I don't know. That's something that maybe they're trying to build this aura about Kingpin in this.
A Ray
in this
aura
earth.
about
Yeah.
Kingpin.
I don't know.
But John, I want to ask you, if it wasn't Vincent D'Onofrio, how would you feel right now?
If it wasn't Vincent D'Onofrio, then I don't think it's as significant because, okay, so Marvel has the rights to the character back.
Sure.
So we expect them at some point, we're going to have a Kingpin pop up. You can't not have Kingpin eventually pop up, right? By having Vincent D'Onofrio in the role, though, yeah, put aside the fact that he plays the role great. They could get another actor who I'm sure would do a fantastic job as well. But by bringing in Vincent D'Onofrio, this is Marvel saying we're willing to cross boundaries. We're willing to do things that traditionally we would not have done and most people don't do. Again, they kind of did it with Ghost Rider at one point, but we're willing to go there and we're willing to do that. And that just means that a lot of things that may have been considered, as Vincini would say, inconceivable is now possibly conceivable. So it's great alone that Kingpin's here, the character. It's significant, though, that it's actually going to be played by Vincent D'Onofrio. And we'll find out next week. The question of, is this the Netflix iteration of Kingpin, or is this a new iteration of Kingpin being played by Vincent D'Onofrio? We only have to wait a week for that answer. We'll definitively know that next week in the final episode. So I gotta tell you, I'm pretty stoked to see that final episode now.
Who's with me that Kingpin should be played by Tyson Fury?
Oh my God, Tyson Fury would make a good Kingpin.
Just because he's so much bigger. Because after the Spider-Verse movie, you know how Kingpin looked in that with the big shoulders, like the super huge shoulders, and he was like way bigger than everybody else. I want to see that Kingpin.
Well, we got this one, and we're gonna see. By the way, I always got to bring it out. Shout out to the late great Michael Clark Duncan.
Oh,
Right.
I don't care how much people want
Right.
to trash on the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie. I really liked that movie, and I really liked Michael Clark with his voice as
Oh,
Kingpin.
yeah.
I miss Michael Clark Duncan so much. Anyway, shout out to Michael Clark Duncan. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What did you think about the big reveal in Hawkeye last night? I thought it was incredibly significant. Whatever you guys are feeling about that, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.